Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is KidNativeBloodyElbow.com, joined once again by the ineffable, the ineluctable, the inevitable Eugene S. Robinson, author of Fight, Everything You Ever Want to Know About Ass Kicking, but we're afraid you get your ass kicked for asking, and a lovely red shirt. Almost has a lovely new set of headphones. I bought him just for this show, but he can't seem to make them work.
Look at that, man. They're so fucking nice.
You can lead the on-camera talent to equipment, but you can't make it work. I don't know.
No, it's not my fault they didn't send the fucking adapter, man.
And
like
well, whatever. We're here for the UFC Zagreb Care Don't Care preview. Eugene, do you have a disclaimer for the fans?
I do. Crybabies, bedwetters. This has much less to do with your your talents and skills as a fighter, and much more to do with the marketing heft and weight that your parent organization, Zuffa, courtesy of the Baldwin, has put behind you. In other words, it's not your fault. Fight an interesting fight, move from don't care to care. We'll remember you. Paul Felder, Clay Collard Greens, or Chris Collard Greens, or at least his name is Collier. We got that much right.
That's right.
Oliveira, plenty of guys have made the jump from don't care to don't care. You know, fight like you mean it. We'll remember you, but this is not to be taken personally. Crybabies and bedwetters.
Well said. And what are you having for lunch today? And did you bring it up for the headphones?
Well, as evidenced by the sticks, I've gone full on David Bowie, and it is well, actually, it's not really David Bowie because the song is China Girl. And I'm eating sushi, but you get where I'm going with this.
Very confusing. A panoply of directions there. Is that
all panoply?
Is that the baby set starter chopsticks that are attached together? Or are these the grown-up kind that are two separate pieces of wood?
Well, I want to say Oxbow played some shows this past weekend. Some guys who listen to Knuckle Up came to the shows, and I was talking about the headphones, and they go, "Hey, man, it wouldn't be you on Bloody Elbow if there weren't tech problems." So
that's right. It's our brand. We've turned it into an asset.
It's not a bug. It's a feature.
Exactly. So let's dive right in to the three-fight Fight Pass preliminary card. Again, this is a Saturday night card. It's coming from Zagreb, Croatia, but it's going to air on primetime on Fox Sports 1 on Saturday, both the undercard and the main card. However, there are three fights on Fight Pass, starting with welterweights.
I'm sorry to be an old man about this. Could you say that again? Where can I see these fights on Saturday? Can I see them on Fight Pass?
On Saturday, you can't see them anywhere, but on Sunday, you can see them on Fight Pass. Three fights on Fight Pass. Right. And then you have 4 fights of prelims on Fox Sports 1 and another 6 fights of main event on Fox Sports 1 also.
So I'm getting fucked again. I got it. Good.
Yeah. It's relatively straightforward. It should be relatively straightforward. All right. So first up, welterweights, Bojan Velekovic and Alessio Di Chirico.
I don't give a fuck, man. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, if Kid Nate is stumbling on both your names, that means you're heading for a DC, buddy.
Or you have, complicated names, because, that's also part of my brand, is I can't pronounce anybody's name. All right, heavyweight, Jared Cannonier versus Cyril Asker.
I don't give a fuck.
No.
Man, I figured out this show in a lot of ways makes me out to be like president of the know-nothing party, because I'm always going first with the don't cares, but I think I got some concurrence with you. I mean, I know you well enough at this point to know if I'm not caring about these two guys, you're not caring either. I didn't miss a thing.
Pretty much. Sometimes you care about people you've personally met that I don't care about, but as a rule.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the last one, and this is sort of breaking the pattern of having a hot fight on Fight Pass. They've got featherweights, Robert Whiteford and Lucas Martins.
Sorry.
What was that?
I just got cat problems, man. Again, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
I see. All right, so Robert Whiteford and Lucas Martins, that's a don't care, I'm guessing.
Lucas Martins almost gets me to care, then no.
No. All right, so yeah, Robert Whiteford has flirted with caring, and yeah, I couldn't go there. All right, so now.
Say flirted or farted?
Flirted.
Good. I'm sorry. I got Popeye here too. And,
is he farting over there?
Well, he's snoring, which means that the farting can't be far behind.
Well, I'm glad that Popeye's relaxed for the show. That's good to know. All right, so now we come to the Fox Sports 1 prelims. Again, that's 4 fights, and this is Sunday night, not Saturday night. Bantamweight.
The whole fight is on Sunday.
Everything's on Sunday. The whole thing is on Sunday, April 10th. So
don't you feel like a grade school teacher?
How so?
Oh, okay. I'm glad you didn't get it right away. It's like you say the fight's on Sunday night, and I wait a bit, and then I go, so the fight's on Sunday night. You go, yes, the fight's on Sunday night, and then you say something else, you wait a bit, and then I say the fight's on Sunday night. You go, yes, the fight's on Sunday night.
Indeed. But that's part of the gig for a communications professional like myself.
Okay, right.
Communicating.
Yeah.
All right.
Now you know what my coach goes through.
Your kids are older now, but you remember like when you read a kid's story to your kid and you're thinking about the moral, or you're trying to tell them a point, and you're like, well, the reason that Little Red the pony and Big Black the pony is because big pictures, and then the kid comes back with Big Black is a horse, and like that's. Anyway.
No, we read stories very differently. And I tell my kids, I go, you do understand why the Little Red Rabbit got screwed over by his friends. The Little Red Rabbit got screwed over by his friends because his friends were no talent bums who despised him for his talent and being red and being a rabbit.
And then the kid said, Little Red's a rabbit.
And I go, you're missing the point, kid. Those sons of bitches who work with me, the rabbit.
Which one's a rabbit, Daddy? That's that's the thing. All right, so now we're moving on into the Fox Sports 1 prelims with bantamweights Filip, Pejic, and Damian Stasiak. Yeah, no.
It was like watching an EA version of an off-brand company version of MMA where they don't have the rights to real fighters' names, but they just make up names.
Like the EA Sports video game before they had the UFC, back when they had Randy Couture and Fedor and then like 2 other guys.
Yeah, exactly
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, so I'm gonna fill that in as a don't care, and we'll go on to bantamweight Ian Entwistle versus Alejandro Perez. Ian Entwistle, not the member of any famous British punk bands, but
not even a punk band, man.
No,
a classic rock band.
Not even a classic rock band. There's plenty of Ians.
No, I really appreciate his work with The Who. What are you talking about?
Well, John Entwistle, of course, but there's tons of Ians both in punk and in classic rock English bands.
Name one in punk.
An Ian in a punk band? Well, is the Cult a punk band?
His last name was Asbury.
I know, Ian. That's the Ian part. And Ian Mackay, of course, but he's American. But
you're reaching for just the first name. See, I had a good joke with The Who, and you crucified it.
There's no good joke that involves The Who, Eugene. There's nothing funny about The Who.
Look, I don't care.
All right. No, I don't care either. Sorry, guys. All right. Now we're getting to one we might have a care. Lightweight, Damir Hadzovic, that's not the care, versus Mairbek Taisumov.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I care.
Because?
I'll tell you, any of the offs, any of the Dagestani mafia, all those guys I care about. And I thought it was a real interesting moment about a week and a half ago. And it was an object lesson maybe for the folks at Reebok at how to deal with a fucking corporate screw-up where they have Khabib, have his character kneel down before he gets in the cage, and cross himself.
Do the cross thing. Yeah, that was pretty fitting for a Muslim.
And Khabib, rather than go along to get along, actually said, "You know what, man, this is actually a problem for me." I sort of hoped the first atheist MMA fighter would go and say, "Could you please not? You know what? I'm not doing that shit. Could you? But I'll take that it was Khabib." And they apologized. And I don't know if they changed it, but they apologized pretty quickly. It's a non-issue
right away, but I don't know if they fixed it. But back to Mairbek Taisumov. He's 4-1 in the UFC. His only loss is to Mikhail Perez by decision, but he hasn't fought since last June. I assume that's got to do with injuries, and hasn't really beaten anybody name brand yet. But I'm picking him. What the heck?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not fighting a guy who's named Brand, really. So,
No,
right? So,
yeah, he's fighting some Central European dude. So,
all right.
All right. So we're both picking Taisumov.
I see you sticking your toe back in the water, after that terrible run of horrible picks you had a few weeks ago. And I like
all year my picks have been terrible, Eugene. That's because I'm not trying. That's the official.
It could be. You're just pulling the picks in. You're studying them for hours. You're consulting with other people.
No.
Throwing that stuff up in the air and making a pick. I know how it is.
I'm just throwing it right up there. I can't listen to the vivisection and get any insight until after this show is because the vivisection doesn't happen until later. So until then, I'm clueless. All right. So, and I mean,
this is
that's
a great
the thing.
show, man.
Huh?
This is a great show. We're just, man, it's like if you get paid to mop,
it's pretty magical. You're eating groceries. Is that grocery store sushi you're eating?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I never eat that. That is a terrible idea. Have you ever heard of food poisoning?
Yep. I like food poisoning.
I'm sure you do. A great weight loss technique.
That's exactly where I'm going with it, man. I lose weight any way I get a chance to.
Binge and purge. That's the magic formula, kids.
Well,
just kidding.
Not when you get Safeway sushi, man. Well, it's a different type of purge. I call it what you get with explosive diarrhea. It's a novelty.
I see. A novelty. Some people call it that. If your fingertips go numb, call 911. That's my
friend took me to Taco Tio once. I don't know if you have Taco Tios in Texas.
We don't, but I've eaten them in California.
And he says, "Do you have any change?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And he goes, "Throw it in there." And this is a strange California thing. So I throw all my change in the salsa sauce. And he's going talking and eating. By the time we finish eating, by the time the drinks come, he goes, "Hey, dump that stuff out there." Dump it out. All my coins are shiny and clean.
Wow. So your recommendation is to clean your dirty coins with salsa.
I'd say brush your teeth with it, but I got where you're going.
I see. All right. Excellent. All right. So welterweight, Nicolas Dalby and Zach Cummings.
I've made fun of Zach Cummings before.
Because of the name. It's pretty obvious.
Well, I liked his father as a poet. I did a whole show like that. I went to the porn show in Vegas. I had a running commentary. And I didn't know any of the porn stars' names, but it didn't stop me from doing a show I was paid to do. And my favorite, the peak of my moment of creativity was a black porn star walked in, and I go, "Desmond Tutu." Because I successfully figured out that anybody who knew Desmond Tutu wouldn't be watching the porn show, and it would sound like a familiar name, and they would go, "Shit, okay." Hey, man, Desmond Tutu was there, and Abraham Lincoln, all the guys.
Abraham Lincoln's one of your own criminal aliases.
Yeah. A friend of mine in New York now has stolen that name. He calls himself Abe Lincoln Jr.
Lincoln Jr.
I got a piece on him coming up. So
exciting. All right. So, are you going to pick Zach Cummings?
No, I remember making fun of him, and I'm not typically making fun of things that I really like. But so I'm not gonna. I don't care.
I see. Yeah, he's got a pretty good record. He's 3-1 in the UFC, but
I don't care if Jesus Christ was fighting. If he's fighting the old lady down at the 7-Eleven, I don't care.
I see. Even if you're there and you got a 40 and 20 minutes to kill.
Well, maybe I care that.
Yeah. I mean, that's
maybe I push aside the juniper bush next to where I'm sitting and I peek out. Oh man, that old lady's fucking him up, man.
Come on, Jesus, get back in there. Quit turning the other cheek, dude.
All right.
Yeah, a friend of mine growing up always claimed that he was once in a 7-Eleven, like he was 8. He was at a 7-Eleven way too late, just at the time they stopped selling beer. And Dory Funk Jr., the former NWA wrestling champion, came in and wanted some fucking beer. And slammed a 6-pack on the counter, and the guy was like, "I'm sorry, we can't sell that to you." And he says, "Well, fuck you, you ain't stopping me from walking out with it." And he just wahooed the beer after hours. So,
did he leave the money on the counter?
No, he said, "Fuck you, I'm taking the beer."
Oh, so you stole. All right, see, I leave the money on the counter and go.
Wahoo. He wahooed, if you consider that stealing.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it technically is a crime, but you know.
Yeah.
I don't think
I think it's called defrauding a shopkeeper.
or theft.
Yeah, like that.
But anyway, so Dory Jr. was apparently in real life a terrifying Hulk. So,
Really?
well, yeah, I mean, he's a pro wrestler. He's a giant, burly dude compared to regular people like a pencil-necked 7-Eleven clerk.
Yeah.
So,
Well, since I've been studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I've developed an incredibly large false sense of security.
like you didn't have one before.
Yeah, the 10 years studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has made it even worse.
And then the 7 years of karate.
Yeah, I've been doing this a long time. Every single martial art that I've taken has conspired to make me a largely
insufferable.
Well, that too, yeah, but not really with a good sense of the limits of my abilities.
I see. Well, why bother with?
Hold on, guys. I'll take those Hell's Angels. Angels, plural.
Crafty. Good thinking. Good thinking. Good thinking.
So I don't have to do this, but
well, that's good. That's good. All right, so we're rolling into the main event with one kind of half-hearted care and some jokes about British rock and some porn.
I knew we were coming. Oh, thank you. I knew that was coming anyway because I looked at the card. I cheated a little bit and looked at the card, and I was like, boys, you're more, man. This is like nothing. What the hell is happening here?
Yeah,
who is supposed to be attracted by like somebody sitting around high going, I don't know what I feel like. I just feel like fighting. I was something fighting, and they dial in fighting, and that's what comes up. I don't give a shit.
Fox One is like hell. Nobody's watching our network anyway. This will get a few thousand people tuning in. So, all right, now we're moving on to the main card, starting with women's strawweight, Maryna Moroz and Cristina Stanciu.
I pay attention to WMMA, and I don't care.
Yeah, no, me neither. Sorry, ladies. All right.
What I'm hoping that people take away from this is that we're honest,
As opposed to we think we're too cool for school and we're just
yeah. I mean, look, if it was a John, I love John Anik. John Anik, he's actually doing some research. More Ronaldo.
We know Kenny Florian does his research.
Yeah, we know he does it really well. And who was that other guy recently in the election who was like dead straight up quoting shit from movies? Oh, Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz. But I think that's because he's such a big movie buff that he's just he doesn't even.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Yeah. So here's one I think is going to be a care, although kind of a sad care. Light heavyweights, Jan Blachowicz and Igor Pokrajac.
Yeah.
And I have to say, patting my own back here for pronouncing both of those names like a native.
Well, why does it make you sad?
Why does it make me sad? Because both of these guys are in what you would call neutral as far as their career. They're both stuck in neutral, just revving their wheels and going nowhere.
All right, yeah. Let me spin it for you in a way that you might find helpful. Now, you have chosen to be an MMA fighter.
I have not. I've done no such thing.
Yeah, you have. This is your lifelong dream. And you could be inside the warm store where they're cooking all the good food, or you could be on the sidewalk in the snow, in the rain, the inclement weather. All right, now, given that you're inside, you could either have enough money to buy one of these fantastic sweetmeats that they're offering and the scrumptious Turkish delights, or, you could depend on the kindness of maybe not so strangers or people who work there, but throwing you a bone here and there. As things stand, I think I'd rather be the guy who gets a bone thrown to him than the guy outside in the wind, So you're looking at it from the point of view of like, I got a chair at the table. Man, look at those guys. It's like Van Norden from Tropic of Cancer. Henry Miller's starving to death and goes to his rich, successful friend Van Norden's place around dinner time because he knows he'll get the hookup. And Van Norden is sitting there eating this like King Henry VIII spread, and he looks up with his face smeared with grease and food, and he sees Henry Miller sitting down there starving. He goes, Henry. Henry goes, yes? He goes, could you come back in an hour? I'll be finished eating by then. It's so depressing to have me see you sitting there like that. I can't eat. And he goes, sure, man. And he leaves, it goes away, it comes back in an hour. All the food is gone. See, that's the problem. I'm looking at it like a guy who's just happy to be out of the rain. And oh, look what they gave me. They gave me a bone. Oh, they gave me a bone. So this is not a sad fight.
I see. So as long as you take Eugene inside and toss him a bone, he's happy.
If the choice is outside and no bone, you tell me.
Depends what kind of bone you're talking about. That's
it's not going to be a revolution in the fucking Elaine's, a Tavern on the Green, or 21, or Aquavit, or whatever high-end restaurant you want to reference. There's not going to be any revolution there, man.
I see. I was trying to make a sexual reference there, but you just
I wasn't going for that.
Definitely just refused to take it. So Pokrajac lost his last 3 UFC fights. Actually lost basically 5 straight UFC fights before he got cut. And one of those was a no contest that got overturned to Joey Beltran. But then he's won 3 straight in the European circuit. So they're bringing him back for the Croatian card, which makes sense. And Blachowicz has lost his last 2 UFC fights after, So he's 1 and 2 in the UFC. So we've got some guys that have lost a lot of UFC fights here together. Do you have a pick?
No, I don't give a shit.
I thought you just said you cared.
There's a difference between caring and giving a shit.
Aha, I see. Fine distinction. Is that a little yogurt for dessert?
No, it's dessert. We already talked about it. It's like
yogurt and sushi do not mix, dude. That is
no, it's not yogurt, man. It's mascarpone.
What's that?
Okay.
Come on, enlighten me. I'm a yogurt.
It's a creamy Italian dessert food, man.
I see. And I can tell you does not go with sushi.
Cream and fruit and
raw fish.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, this is not a kosher meal.
I see. Well,
but I'm not keeping a kosher kitchen. Have you ever been in a kosher kitchen?
No, I think if I go in a kitchen, it's by definition not kosher anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But you can't actually go to a kosher kitchen. But it's a tape keeps everything straight. All these different color pieces of tape. It looks like a Mondrian,
Oh, fancy modern art reference.
Yeah.
So we don't care enough to make a pick.
We've got it all, man, except for Nazis who have not worked themselves into it yet.
Here they are now. Is that a Nazi red, your shirt? Is that what color?
No? It's salmon. Every time
that's not a salmon. That's a much more red than a salmon.
Watermelon.
You said it.
Hey, easy, buddy.
I'm not going near that. I'm trying to stay away from this.
It's a food stuff.
All right.
Yeah, so everybody's so racially paranoid. You can't say, "Oh, love the watermelon shirt." What do you say?
Exactly. I just did 6 hours of diversity training today, so I'm on top of things.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. The same presentation twice. Not that I'm complaining. If any of my corporate overlords are listening, I'm just saying it was the same presentation twice.
You'd be like, so anyway, let me get this straight, right? So that Spickish guy over there, he comes over to me and he says, "Hey, you fucking Mick, I can't paste him in the mouth."
Because if you call me a Mick, I'm going to be furious.
Isaac. Okay, so what about? I mean, come on. It's not it's like it's more the industry. Not there. There's some places where you really need it. Very top and at the very bottom.
I think in the middle too. Come on. I mean, this is a very white industry, and we need all the help we can get.
When I worked at Intel, because Andy Grove was a big fan of mine, they gave me all these executive assignments outside of putting out their corporate publication. And at one time, I went to the number 2 guy's office. His name was Les Videz. I love that name, Les
Videz. That's awesome.
He was one of Andy's friends from Hungary. Andrew liked to, keep it real, keep some of the Hungarian crew around. And so I go into his office, and he goes, "Yes." And I go, "We have a 1 o'clock." And he's like, "You Eugene?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "You like basketball?"
Very sensitive.
I said, "No, man. I hate it. I don't play it. I used to play it as a kid. Don't like it." I go, "Do you like basketball?" Because he was like 5'2", and he goes, "Oh, very much." And he starts talking about basketball. And whatever, man.
I see.
I just took that whole thing. I didn't assume that he asked me because I was a young black man.
You saved it. You saved him. That was.
I should have kept it real though and slapped him in his face, right?
That would have been excellent career advice. Yes, yes. Definitely always keep it real, kids.
That's the advice I had from my friend. And I get to the apartment and some woman runs out screaming and crying, you know, like clutching her clothes. And I go, "What's the matter?" And he goes, "I asked her how her day was." I go, "What? That's a response?" He was like, "Yeah." I go, "You know what you got to do? Let me tell you what you got to do. Next time she comes over here, you got to fuck her. That's what you got to do." He goes, "That's your advice?" I go, "Yeah, it seems like it's pretty good advice to me. You just get right in there." The next week, she was in a mental hospital. He came back and told me, she's in a mental hospital now. And I was like, "And?"
So he fucked her crazy? Is that what you're trying to say?
He didn't follow my advice at all. And then she was in a mental hospital.
I see. Had he followed your advice.
Yeah, boom. He goes, "How's that going to take care of everything?" He goes, "That'll take care of everything."
Crafty advice there, Eugene Robinson.
The world's worst life coach, Eugene S. Robinson.
And sex advice columnist for Aussie.com.
That's right. I've been putting salt in people's games since 1962.
That's right. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Salt in people's game. All right, let's move on. The card actually gets worse from here for a pretty brutal stretch. So
let's do it. That's
heavyweight Timothy Johnson versus Marcin Tybura.
This we thought we had, like Charles Manson saying, "Can I never dream of a place to go much further than before?" A few shows ago, that was our most not cared about show. This will, I'm predicting, break the record because I don't give a fuck.
No, yeah, we're heading to nowhere here pretty quick. All right, so heavyweight Francis Ngannou versus Curtis Blaydes.
Sorry.
I care about Francis Ngannou.
I was going to say, I know Ngannou, but what do you know about Ngannou?
Flashes of promise.
What kind of?
The promise of extreme violence.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me his record there, please.
I mean, he fought some dudes. That's he's got long hair and some fancy moves. Let's see. He's 6-1, 29 years old. He is 1-0 in the UFC with a KO in the second round.
KO who?
Luis Henrique Barbosa de Oliveira. So he beat up some Brazilian bum.
Who could forget that fight?
Yes, and now I predict he's about to beat up Curtis Blaydes. My guess is Curtis Blaydes is not a Croatian bum. That was going to be my guess there, but
I would pronounce his name Blaydes, but what do I know?
Well, his nickname is Razor Blaydes.
Oh my God!
So I don't. And he's.
Why do you do this to yourself? Why don't you come to me for a small consultation fee? I will help you with your fight nickname.
You think you can do better than Razor Blaydes?
No, I actually like Razor Blaydes. I changed.
He's from Oklahoma.
Where the wind comes whipping down the plain?
Huh? Where the wind comes whipping down? Yes, indeed. So this is his UFC debut.
Waving, I predict nice and sweet.
Yeah, he's going to be fed to the Sharks in the person of Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, man. If he's an Oklahoma guy and he got anywhere near a school in Oklahoma, he's probably a more than decent wrestler. I'm not saying this is a wash, but
Well, it's possible, entirely possible. All right, so now we're back into Care Country, maybe. Heavyweight, Gabriel Gonzaga against Derrick, the Black Beast Lewis.
Yep, Care.
Definitely now, a Care. Do you think Gonzaga's going to shave his back hair for this one?
Well, hold on. I'm not. Come on. We are better than that.
What do you mean better than that? Like you watch Gonzaga's fights in the preview, he always has like a fro of back hair. Yep. Not just like a little, but like a huge standing fro. And then in his fights, it's almost always gone.
Yeah,
which I'm grateful for.
He's trying to get sexy. He's a faulty guy for
presentable at least.
Yeah.
But I have seen him come out in full bear mode without shaving his back. So I'm just saying, you think he's going to care enough?
I was only in those bars because of the jukebox.
They have great tunes down at Chain Drive or Oil Can Harry's.
The End Up. The Ramrod.
The manhole.
Manhole, that's a good name.
Yeah.
No, I care about this one first off. And I got, man, last time I picked Lewis, things came out pretty good for me. It came out pretty good. But, these guys are both bangers, except one has got some skill on the ground and one does not. So
Yes.
I think I'm going to, my gut keeps saying go with Lewis. But Brazilians can be sometimes inconsistent. But I've seen Gonzaga get his ass kicked. But I've never seen him go in looking slack and getting his ass kicked, So the question is, going in the way he goes in, is he going into an ass kicking? And I've not been impressed enough with Lewis. I picked him last fight, but not been impressed enough to pick him against Gonzaga.
Well, if you, of the cast iron, let's have some grocery store sushi and custard to follow it up, are not going to follow your gut, I have to follow your gut on this one.
You're going to pick Lewis?
I got to pick the Black Beast here.
Okay. Why?
Because Gonzaga's looked chinny, and he's older. He's lost 3 out of his last 4 fights.
Oh, now
the ageism comes out, Eugene.
Yeah, I'm sitting on Gonzaga. Even I'm doubling up, or doubling down, or whatever the phrase is. Okay. Yeah, he's older. He is older, but there's no spring chicken in Lewis either. So.
No, he's not especially, but he's younger than Gonzaga, and he's, more importantly, got a lot less miles on him.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we got some action.
We've got some action. So, you smart Alex out there keeping track.
I love that guy. I love him.
Where was he all the years? I was getting all the pictures.
He's making the past present forever.
All right, so now we're all the way to the main event with, I'd say we had 2 cares en route. Yeah. All right.
All-time low.
Now we've got Ben Rothwell versus Junior Dos Santos, heavyweight division action.
This is heavy. We could have actually done a whole show on that. First of all, I'm guessing we care.
I care.
But if you talk about the Hauptbannführer of the Lost Battalion, Junior Dos Santos. I mean, this is with the newly ascendant friend of Knuckle Up, Ben Rothwell, who has somehow decided that strange is a way to get known and to get fight bookings. I mean, it's a fight that means a lot, right? I mean, remember, there are ways out of the Lost Battalion, but you will never get out of the Lost Battalion on your own steam. That's the nature of the place. No matter how the most earnest efforts will not get you out of the Lost Battalion. You could try this and you could try that. You're not getting out. You have to be called out. And that's how Junior Dos Santos finds himself in the cage headlining a fight at the UFC. Now, it's like pulling crabs from a barrel. They pulled up and he kind of sees a glimpse of everything non-misty, and he's like almost saying if he loses this fight, he's back in the fucking barrel, man. It's not like he Now the question is, given that mindset, given how poor the victuals are in the Lost Battalion, how bad it is for your general frame of mind, what Junior Dos Santos shows up. Well, people say, what do you mean which? Usually when you say that about a fighter, you mean, is it going to be the guy who's really hungry for it, or is it going to be the guy who just kind of sloughs it up? Well, let me tell you, in the Lost Battalion, there's only one type of guy. A guy who's bombed out and depleted and confused at the present downturn of his fortunes. So, if you got a guy for whom that doesn't make a difference, then he's like, cool, and he fights with great disregard for whether he's hither or yon. And if he gets back in the barrel, back in the crab bucket, what does he give a fuck? What does he care? He was in the mist before. He's in the mist now. Like when they're talking about Chris Lieben fighting. It's like, come on. Does it make a difference where Chris Lieben is? He could be by the juniper bushes at the 7-Eleven. He could be fighting at the UFC. You don't get the sense that it really makes a difference, But I think with Junior Dos Santos, I think his head is part of the game. And he's like trying to tell people, I looked worse than I was. I'm back. I'm here. I don't know about that, man. I really don't know about that. And Rothwell is a big, big fucking guy. And like I keep saying, he's a Midwestern guy, but he didn't come up wrestling So, okay, perfect. That means, toe to toe, they're just going to be punching each other. Can he lay one of those 2-ton bombs on Junior and have Junior snap him out of this malaise? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. And, Dos Santos, it seems like he's been on just a downward spiral forever, but, only 2 fights ago, he was beating Stipe Miocic. Now, I thought Stipe looked pretty sharp in that fight, and Junior looked flat, but nonetheless, Junior was enough better to get the decision, but then he goes out and gets knocked out by Overeem, and then you remember all the brain trauma that Cain Velasquez put on him. But the thing you haven't brought up is that with Cain injured and no longer holding the title, Junior has a minute 22nd KO victory over the UFC champion. The only guy who can say that. Like, he flat blitzed Fabricio Verdum. Like, he ought to be making noise about this is my title. Get out of my way, Ben Rothwell. Here I come.
He hasn't been making that noise. The fact that he's saying that I looked worse against Cain than I really was is an indication to me that you look into the Lost Battalion. The Lost Battalion looks into you, my friend.
Yeah, Junior looked so bad against Cain. Not that he didn't put on great, valiant fights. It's just the beatings he took in the course of those fights. Like, I'll never forget him on his knees in that last one, right before he got finished. Or the gif of his face in the first fight, the one they did round by round, and it was just sad.
And the reality of it is, I don't think there's any institutional will to see him as a champion again. For what?
No, Brazil's economy is imploding, so there's no big push to expand. Although they're saying they're doing the famous soccer stadium fight finally, but there's the Brazilian fans have seen him lose and lose again and lose ugly, and I think he's.
Hold on, I'm hearing you say a few different things. Are you going to pick him? Because I'm picking Rothwell.
I'm looking here I'm looking at this GIF of Junior's face melting against Cain, and it's just no, I'm not picking him. The guy's.
Hey, send it to me on Facebook because I don't think I've actually seen it.
All right, I will send that to you on Facebook. But no, I can't pick this guy. He's it's just sad. It's sad what happened to him, and
Ben is big, man. I mean,
Ben is on a hot streak. He's won four fights in a row, and I just feel like it's his time. It's his place.
I mean, he's ungainly. He's like a big. Who's that guy? Keith Jardine, who's rhythmically. I think he did as well as he did for as long as he did, just because rhythmically he was so strange as a fighter. Rothwell is not that uncoordinated, but rhythmically he's just kind of not pretty to watch, and you get confused easily by some guy who's that ungainly, and yet when he puts his mitts on you, it feels like God is changing your mind about things,
And he's got 2 go-go chokes in a row, so.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know, the way he flattened Alistair Overeem too was I don't think he can flatten Junior Dos Santos like that, but as we know, Junior usually takes a more sustained beating.
Well, and have we seen any Junior power for a long time? I mean, for those of you out there who thought that Shane Carwin quit too quickly, what? All you got to do is look at Junior Dos Santos.
Yeah.
You're looking at a guy who maybe is quitting too late.
Yes.
I hate to say it, man, but it's not like you do realize that these are fights, right? These are fucking fights. It's not like, I'm going to run the 50-yard dash on Tuesday, and then I'm going to run it again next Tuesday, and I'm going to be close to be the same fighter, close to being the same runner. Nah, buddy.
No. There's a lot of brain trauma between point A and point B.
Yeah. I mean, inside the brain, in the mind, as well as the actual brain structure, yes.
Yes. So we're both picking Ben Rothwell, and I guess that's the show. An abbreviated Nazi reference.
In the nick of time, given what I feel is happening in my stomach, Safeway sushi.
I tried to warn you. The grocery store sushi.
You know what? Intel was one of the first companies in the Valley who put in vending machines that sold healthy food. So I bought a yogurt, explosive diarrhea. I wait a week. I buy another yogurt, another bout of explosive diarrhea. I wait another week, this time maybe 2 weeks, buy another yogurt, and now I've self-identified. I go, the last 3 times I bought this yogurt, I got explosive diarrhea.
What I'm getting a text from our sponsors that says, keep Eugene talking about diarrhea as long as you can. We went in on this.
Gotta underwrite it.
Yes. We want to associate our brand with this conversation. Can you throw in some Nazi references? How about another watermelon joke, guys? What can you do? Did you notice in the comments on If I Did It Last Week that somebody called himself Pale Blue Eyes or whatever? The first comment was, this conversation was so racist. And I was like, yeah, me.
Well, what was funny is you and Alexi just both jumped for that troll. I was like, I'm not fucking racist. I got your fucking racist right here, buddy. Right? I guess I got to go through that sensitivity training. So
yeah, a few hours of diversity training, you too could be.
Is it sensitivity or diversity?
This was actually unconscious bias training, which all seemed scientifically valid. It's just the second go round was less informative than the first.
My favorite thing, I told you about this before, and I can't stress it more fully. My favorite thing about racism is the knowing look that you can exchange with another racist when something archetypically racist happens. You know,
I wouldn't know because I'm not being racist.
Like what Dave Chappelle says, he's paranoid about eating chicken in public because the guys look at him and go, look at him. So this is one thing that racists have in common. Where like, you go to traffic school, you're in traffic school. Your speeding ticket, whatever. You broke the law. That's why you're in traffic school. There are 50 people in your class, and they're asking you what you did, and like a guy raises his hand, and the Mexican guy says, "I was driving too slow." The black guy says, "I was driving a car that was stolen." The Asian guy says, "I don't know where they came from. I just smashed right into him." And somewhere in the room, the racist will be looking at another guy who he figures is racist. Like, it's a knowing look like, oh, I'm sure.
I see. Well, what kind of looks back do you get when you shoot those looks out?
I do not do this.
Of course not.
Doesn't mean I don't think it.
Of course.
I mean, this is why you can't. I mean, your inner cop has to be sort of vigilant. Like, I remember a friend of mine was super excited. She texted me that she found a nickel on the street.
I see.
I was like, hey, listen. Inside my head, I thought, you can't be the one excited about finding a nickel. You know that, right? I never said anything, but in my head, I was like, you can't be the one who's excited about finding a nickel.
Did you tell her that the text she just sent cost her 25 cents?
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I said, if you're Scottish, you can't be excited about. You might be excited inside, but you can't come out. If you're Scottish or Jewish, you can't be excited about finding a nickel on the sidewalk. If you're over 10 years old, you can't.
I'm not ashamed. I'm Scottish. If I found a quarter on the street just the other week, actually my kid found it, but guess whose pocket it ended up in, huh?
And I bet you put a Facebook post, found a quarter today. Thumbs up, buddy.
Yep. Took my kid for a quarter. That was a proud moment. All right. So that's our show.
Now you can't see it, but inside my head, I was going like this.
Yeah. Well, I'm filing a complaint right now.
Right.
My people have been oppressed long enough. All right, so we'll be back tomorrow with If I Did It with Alexi Old. We'll be talking about the Wisconsin primaries, I'm sure, and the Daniel Cormier, John Jones situation, and no telling. Yes, and maybe some of these fighters that jumped to Bellator and their complaints about the UFC. Maybe we'll touch on that. I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow. That'll be on
Alexi show, but. Yeah, we should weave it around to that if we get a chance. Yes. As well as I want to talk more about Otto Skorzeny. I like the fact that you found that Otto Skorzeny being a hired assassin for the Mossad, because I also made the claim that it was Skorzeny, very possibly, who got Hitler out of the bunker and into Spain at the conclusion of World War II, and not shot in the bunker, not at all. In fact, I'm getting interviewed on a radio show specifically about the Hitler escape story coming
Is
up
this
in
the
Boston.
Alex Jones Infowars radio
No,
show?
I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it's in Boston. So if you're in
Is it
Boston,
on shortwave radio?
make all the mock you want. It's coming up, I think, in the next 7 days in Boston. If you're in the Boston area, text me. I'll let you know. It'll be cool.
All right. So tune your shortwave radios to your favorite Conspiracy channel, and Eugene will be bringing it. So that'll all be on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube or MMA Nation on iTunes. You can get the audio without the ugly. And then Zane and Connor will have the MMA Vivisection for the scintillating event on Thursday. Huh?
Yeah.
Zane. Oh, yeah. All right. And then Sunday night we'll have the fight coverage. Eugene will be there post-fight with Knuckle Up. I'm not going to do a 6th round. I'm going to let you do the post-fight show all by your lonesome.
Do I have to sit in the dark?
Huh?
Do I have
What?
to sit in the dark like I had to do in that creepy
No,
time?
you refused to do it, claiming some sort of racial prejudice last time.
yeah, you turn the lights out. No Casper the Ghost over here, buddy.
I can make any number of jokes that I wouldn't think are funny and I don't approve of.
I always hated Casper the Ghost. I used to watch him all the time, but I hated him.
Hated Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Yeah, it's like, why don't you figure out these fucking people don't like you, man? Why don't you become like the scary ghost? Casper, the fucking unfriendly ghost. That's the ghost I want to see.
I liked Hot Stuff, the little devil.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
That
Hot
was-
Stuff was a lot better. I think Wendy,
that's right.
Witch, she liked Hot Stuff better than Casper too. But
And
that's
then I remember Casper finds this guy who was drowning a bunch of kittens. It was a pretty harsh cartoon for a kid. He scares him and he takes kittens, and Casper, the dead kid, has a bunch of kittens. It's like, okay, I got you.
that's a little disturbing. Yeah. That's I don't know where you're going with that, but that was to the bottom of a well with a sack full of kittens. That's where you took the show, Eugene.
He's throwing the kids off of a bridge.
Even better.
3 or 4 years old, man. It's disturbing.
That is, I think drowning kittens is always disturbing. Even if you're like a farmer who does it all the time, that's
Why are farmers drowning kittens?
because there's too many kittens in the barn. That's why farmers drown kittens.
Yeah, look, you know what? Chicago just came up with an interesting problem. So they have a rat problem in Chicago. I love how fucking humans think. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to encourage feral cat populations in Chicago to deal with the rat problem.
Why not ferrets?
Hey, why not the dogs? Why not feral dogs to deal with the feral cats?
Some well, I think that Boston Terriers are better ratters than cats are.
Yeah, that's true. Get a bunch of feral Boston Terriers.
That would be kind of a nightmare, though, because even though
it'll be great straight up through November, and then they all die, and they have to start. I mean, what kind of fucking ridiculous program is this? Why don't they just build robotic killer robots? We know they got them. They got the killer robots. Just put the killer.
They can turn against their masters, Eugene. That's what killer robots.
Man. It's already happened.
I've seen that movie, and it's you want to put that genie back in the box. All right, and follow us on Twitter at Kid. Huh? What? Huh?
Yeah, it'll be surprising if I make it to tomorrow's show now.
Yeah, with all the poison you're putting in your system, no doubt. And so, Eugene S. Robinson on Twitter at Eugene S. Robinson on Twitter. Read Eugene at Aussie.com. You can also order the fight book still on Amazon electronically, although the hard copies can only be obtained from the man himself. Do I have any other plugs? Read me on BloodyElbow.com. I think that's all our plugs. So,
buy the Boonwell CD.
The Boonwell, yes. And is Oxbow doing any more gigs that you need to plug?
Yeah, Oxbow's got a show April 16th at this hoity-toity art space in San Francisco, and then April 23rd at this PRF barbecue in Oakland, which I was really depressed about having to play because I thought John Jones was going to fight DC. But that's not happening now, so I don't feel nearly as depressed about it.
I see. Well, and remember, MMA fans get in free. You just have to answer some easy questions.
Yeah, we had two in Portland and one in Seattle, and they showed up. Only one took the quiz though. The other two just figured, fuck it. It's easier to pay. I would have put you on the list, but you got to do the quiz.
I see. Well, that's they blinked. And the final plug, you got to give us a thumbs up on the video. Eugene, how do you do the thumbs up?
Ding, 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 ding.
That's how Eugene does it, but that's not actually how you do it. There's a little thumb icon, and you click that. So, adios, aficionados. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Eugene.